In this video, we will examine the natural byproduct of turning wood, a dirty lathe. Ken Turner is working on a piece of spalted birch, and while we would love to see what Ken produces, for this video, Ken is making chips fly for the sake of making chips fly. Those chips contain sap or pitch, and while they remain on the lathe, they are causing a buildup of residue. And although the residue is more pronounced with green wood, it does happen as well with dry wood. The residue buildup is the leading cause of a sticky banjo or tailstock. In a worst-case scenario, they can also result in rust. Leaving those wet chips on the lathe promotes a buildup of residue, which will cause grief tomorrow. At the very minimum, taking the time to brush the shavings off the lathe will help, especially if those chips are wet. Some consider this to be a lunchtime cleaning. That is, a quick clean before you take a short break. A more thorough cleaning is done with either a vacuum or, in Ken's case, an air compressor. For many, the lathe is considered clean at this point. However, even though the loose shavings are gone, the lathe is actually quite dirty. The banjo and tailstock no longer move freely. This is why, on a regular basis, your lathe requires a deep clean. To accomplish this deep clean, you will need some type of soft abrasive. We are suggesting one of a Scotch-Brite pad, which you can steal from your wife, just don't take it back to the kitchen afterwards, an aluminum polishing pad, which is available at most automotive stores, or some double knot or 00 steel wool. Further, you will need some paper towel, and in this video we are using Glide Coat. For the lathe bed, using one of the soft abrasives, give the bed a good scrub. Pay attention to the top, the sides of the rails, and even under the rails. This is where the tailstock or banjo connect. Any residue here is being compressed, so over time it will cause issues. Remove the tailstock and lay it down on the bed of the lathe. This is a stable surface. Again, with your light abrasive, remove the residue. And put the tailstock aside. Be careful, on some lathes, the tailstocks are very heavy and may require assistance to remove them from the lathe. Remove the banjo. And again, taking care, clean the surfaces. And the locking bar. Wipe the freshly cleaned surfaces with paper towel, and you'll be able to observe the amount of residue you have removed. Glide Coat is both a sealant and a lubricant and has been formulated for use on metal tabletops. Not only is it suitable for lathes, you can use it with your jointer, table saw, planer, and so on. The sealant component makes it a better choice than the lubricant rust removers that we often find in shops. Spray the Glide Coat, do not let it dry, instead use the paper towel to pick up additional residue and seal the surface of the lathe parts. Note how easily the banjo slides after just a little bit of tender, loving care. Repeat this process with the tailstock. And again, note how easily it slides after a thorough cleaning. The wax is an alternative method. Some turners find a small bit of carnauba wax assists in making the lathe bed a smooth surface. Now, this is not intended as a commercial for Glidecoat, but as a service, know that you can get it at Lee Valley, KMS Tools, and even Amazon. Prices can vary drastically, so take the time to find the best price. Another aspect of proper lathe maintenance that should be done at the same time as your deep clean is inspecting the tool rest. This is your reference plane for all of your cuts. You don't want a divot in your tool rest. Further, you don't want to file one end and not the other. As is demonstrated, smooth, consistent strokes with a file is all that is needed. This, however, is a perfect place to use that wax. Now, this is not about residue buildup. Instead, it is just good maintenance. However, cleaning the tool post and the tool rest inside and out is also a good idea. In most instances, paper towel is fine. Lastly, brushing and wiping down the spindle and the Morse taper is also a good idea. We hope you have found value in this short demonstration. Happy turning!